My name is Will, and I, like Mulder from the X-Files, want to believe. So I've embarked on a journey of discovery. I've talked to people deeply entrenched in the spiritual and metaphysical worlds. I've thrown myself into weird and wonderful experiences. I've even joined a coven of witches, all in the interest of finding something, anything, that will prove that there's something beyond this physical, three-dimensional world we all live in. This is the Skeptic Metaphysician.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Skeptic Metaphysician. I didn't mean to change the name, Skeptic Metaphysicians, although you're not really skeptical.
I'm not skeptical.
Right.
No.
So the Skeptic Metaphysician and the True Believer.
That sounds good.
But this guy's kind of long though.
That's very long. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll think about it.
We got to keep thinking. If anyone out in the audience has any ideas of how we should retitle the show to include Karen's presence on the show now, let us know, because we're not very creative.
And we can't use my name because, Karen, but I'm a good Karen.
She is a good Karen. I can vouch for that. That's true. No reporting things to a manager or anything. So Karen, today I'm really excited because we're going to be talking about healing.
We could all use some healing.
We can. The whole world can use some healing. So how much experience, how much knowledge do you have with healing, like the healing modality specifically?
Wow. I would have to say none.
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 Can't say a fun interview. Well, as long-time listeners will know, I am a Reiki practitioner, so I knew a little bit about healing. But our next guest, goes way beyond just Reiki. So here's what I found on her website, and it's incredibly interesting. So I wanted to bring it to you as a way of introducing her. She says that quantum physics, we know I love some quantum physics. Quantum physics shows us that everything in our universe is made of energy, including ourselves. Every part of our body generates a unique frequency. Every cell, every organ, skin, our hair follicles, our thoughts, everything. Even our thoughts are frequencies. And when you come into contact with things that aren't good for you, it disrupts your energy, right? Things that can disrupt your energy include pathogens, toxins, bacteria, even negative people and thoughts. If one's life force energy is low, then we're more likely to get sick or feel stress. And if it is high, we're more capable of being happy and healthy. So healing has a lot more to do than just physical well-being. So our next guest is an intuitive healer. She's a writer and a coach, and she can help guide people to heal themselves with her unique blend of teachings. Her approach is simplified and modernized spirituality and energy healing for the modern soul today. Her healing sessions are a combination of Reiki energy healing and, Karen, medical intuition.
Ooh, I like that.
She uses her gifts to help guide you and your soul to the best version of yourself. Welcome to the show, Davina. Davina, pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Yeah, this will be fun. You and I had the advantage of having a conversation yesterday.
Yes, we did.
We recorded for your show, and it was fascinating. So I'm really looking forward to having to continue the conversation here on our show.
Me too.
So the first thing that sticks out in my mind, right? The first thing that's just blatantly obvious to me that I've got to ask first is, what is medical intuition?
So just like psychics who can tell you about a certain future occurrence that's going to happen, I'm able to tell you about the ailments in your body, something that is going on in you that you probably know that's happening, but you don't know why it's happening. And you're probably going to all these doctors and they're saying, oh, it's all in your head. You're fine. You're just stressed. You're just dehydrated. That's usually not the case. I'm able to tell you the root of that problem, what you can do to help it. I'm a great guide. I have a great network of doctors all over the world, different people for different problems that you probably haven't even heard of. So I'm able to guide you to somebody who can actually help you and not just tell you, hey, you're just dehydrated, you're just stressed. So that's what it is, really.
Do you find, and this isn't 100% on the topic, but do you find that you have more women clients in that regard? Because from my understanding, I think a lot of women's issues tend to be passed off as hormones or stress.
Yeah.
Or I think men tend to be more taken seriously if they tell their doctor all of this stuff. So I'm just wondering if that's something that you see as well.
That's a really, really good point and question. Yes, I have a majority female clients because women are more in tune with their bodies and they take care of themselves more. Men, you kind of have to nag them. You have to say, you know what, I found this. I'm able to I'll give an example. So my fiance, he's a very heavy breather and
Hello.
very heavy. And when he is even just like walking around and he's not even, it's it's very uncomfortable for me to listen because I'm so sensitive and I'm able to pick up on it. So in my mind, I already have like a list of possible reasons as to why he's a heavy breather. I have to sit and fill out like a form for him online to see a special doctor because he's like, it's just how I am. I'm like, well, it's not good for you.
You're supposed to.
It's not good. And then when he was around like my mom and he was breathing heavy and my mom was like, did you notice? I'm like, Mom, it's me. I noticed. She's like, does he know that that's not exactly? Does he know that that's not good? I'm like, well, I told him, like, let's see if he does anything about it. So yes, women are more in tune. And I guess when they go to doctors usually say, hey, it's stress, you have kids, like just be more active, drink more water. But the thing about hormones is, which I'm really glad you brought up, so many women are dealing with hormonal issues. And I find during COVID, especially, I found that I was treating a lot of women with thyroid issues. Like almost every week, I had maybe 2 or 3 women just that I could feel like some kind of thyroid issue happening. And I sent them to an endocrinologist and now they're all on medication. The hormones are very serious. We have to take those hormones seriously. So thank you for bringing them up.
And it has been tough. I had a doctor tell me that I was in menopause and I'm not. So because of the issues I was having.
My point is proven.
Exactly.
So when you refer someone to a specialist,
Yes.
are you primarily speaking about natural holistic practitioners, or do you actually send them to MDA type of people?
Both. Majority, they're natural. So I see a naturopath regularly. I've seen him since, I guess, going on like 12 years now. He's probably like the first person I refer everybody to because he's just so brilliant. And he works with another doctor whose family used to just be like the doctors of like the Tibetan royal family. So you know that they're just brilliant.
Right.
Yeah. So I usually refer everybody to him because he's also very intuitive. Like I would go to him for things like, what do you think about this guy? What do you think about just in all areas of my life? And he's able to give you this like natural approach that's not intimidating. It's kind of fun. I mean, here's an example. He gives me special water each time I go to drink for different problems in my life. Like this one is very high alkaline. He uses stones, shells. Right now I'm doing this like grid. So he gives you like different jars and he creates like a grid around you with different things. So right now I have like a sesame one. I have one with like acorns. It's really fun and fascinating.
It is fascinating.
Yeah.
I went to someone a long time ago for, I don't even remember what it was for, but he was very highly regarded. And what he did somehow, he laid me down on a table.
Okay.
And he put different supplements on my body.
Yeah.
Depending on which way they rolled or how they reacted, those are the supplements I was supposed to take, which was kind of odd for me because I can't imagine how that could possibly be true. But then he would ask me questions. Well, do you have this and happening? And I hadn't told him these things, but do you have this happening? Do that happening? And sure enough, yeah, I could see that from the way the supplements are reacting. It was the most weird thing in the world. And then I think, Karen, you have a story about Dr. Nee.
Oh, well, gosh, I was even thinking about my aunt. I had an aunt who was a medical doctor in Ecuador, and then she ended up going to Germany to study bioenergetic medicine.
Ooh.
And she did the similar thing with me, but she would give me these little vials to hold. And so I'd hold the vial in one hand and then like squeeze my fingers to the other hand. If she could pull them apart, then I needed more of that, and it was weird because sometimes she could just pull apart and then I'd grab onto something and she couldn't. And I was using the same amount of strength every time to, keep my fingers closed, but sometimes depending on what I was holding in the other hand, I could or couldn't. It was weird.
That's crazy. I've never heard of that.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
She had this whole case. It was like this magic little case with little tiny vials.
Oh my gosh.
There's so much we don't know. It's crazy.
So much.
And then your story with Dr. Nee and that horrible tea.
Oh my God.
Oh, you get those teas too.
It looked like he had just chipped stucco off the side of a house and thrown some dirt and maybe a piece of chalk. And I would make this tea and I drank it twice a day. And I was just wanting to do a cleanse because I was going to start trying to get pregnant. And so like, yeah, take this, it'll get you all set, balanced and everything. And so I did it for about a week and it was horrible. Oh my, and you had to boil it down to this syrup. It was terrible.
But did you do it for something like a pain you're having?
No, that was a different story. I had arthritis in my foot and it's gone.
Left or right
and it was
foot?
not right foot.
Okay.
And it just disappeared after that. And I've had it for years. And actually, that's kind of my one experience or experience I had with Reiki. I forgot I did have a little bit of experience with Reiki.
Misleading us.
No, I was sitting on the couch and I had my foot that had the arthritis in it, and it was bothering me. So my fiance at the time I had my feet on his lap, and he was doing Reiki to my foot. And I was watching TV, and I remember looking at him, asking him to not press down on my foot so much because it was really bothering me.
Right.
And then when I looked at his hand, it was a good 2 inches away from my foot. It wasn't even touching me, but I could just feel the force of the energy that much.
Yeah, must have been a very powerful Reiki
It was
practice.
very powerful.
Sounds powerful.
That was before the tea. It was, yeah, because it's been gone ever since the tea.
I have my thoughts to that.
Well, I mean, I do share. If you're
Yeah.
comfortable.
I mean, it's more if she's comfortable. How's your relationship with your father? Or like, how was it around that time?
It's always been, I mean, my dad was not super present when I was young, but then he tried to make up for it. So it's fine. It's not like this amazing. At the time, it was fine.
It was fine at the time. 'Cause
Yeah.
your right side is your father's side. So
Mhm.
usually if we have specific problems on the right side of our body, usually a hip problem or foot problem, I always like tell the person, like, how's your relationship with your dad at that point? Like I did a show in January, and this girl, probably like college age girl, came to me. She's like, I can barely walk, on my left side. I'm like, I'm in so much pain, I can't move. I was like, how's your relationship with your mom right now? She's like, we're not talking. We're just, it's a mess. It's so bad. How'd you know? I'm like, well, it's your left side. Left is mom, right is dad.
Wow. Because I happen to have hip pain and back pain on the right side.
I was going to say, no wonder my right hip is killing me.
But my relationship with my dad is fine. It's just he has a relationship with other people in the family member or other family members that's not great, and that really affects me. So I wonder.
That's a lot of pressure.
It adds a lot of pressure.
Yes.
I'm kind of the peacemaker.
Yes.
And that-
I hear you. I see you and I hear you.
Yeah.
Got this.
All right. Well, so, I mean, all these different healing modalities are fascinating because I know that the Western world in which we live is so far behind on
Yeah.
holistic mindsets and things like that. So we're so stuck in that medical, this is the way, if it's only if the MDA and the FDA approve this, are we okay to use it kind of thing. But there's so much more out there
Yeah.
than just taking a pill for something that we unfortunately don't take advantage of. A lot of the rest of the world really do. And you hear all these kinds of stories all the time about people getting better. I know some folks that were battling cancer and talk about alkaline water, right? Getting rid of all the acidity, it helped them either heal from cancer or at least go into remission or decrease the effects or slow down. I mean, you just get a lot of stories about that kind of stuff.
Yes. I actually interviewed a neuroscientist. Yeah, she's a neuroscientist, and she had around 100 tumors in her brain.
What?
Yes. I don't know how she's alive, but she is
Wow.
such a sweetheart. So when she got that diagnosis, her first thought to her was, how am I going to make the people in this hospital around me, the nurses, the other patients, happy? How can I put a smile on their face today? And she really attributes herself to getting better, being just a higher frequency vibing person, like doing good things for other people, making them happy, not thinking about her illness. Like, why, when you get that diagnosis, you're like, okay, I'm gone. Bye-bye. Say goodbye to everybody. But no, that was like, how am I going to start living like a new life, being sweeter, nicer, kinder, and more open with my heart to everybody else? And she's here. She wrote a new book. She was talking about it with me. It's just such an amazing story of how like your thoughts and your energy can really heal you.
Right.
Did she still have the tumors?
No.
Wow.
No.
What?
Nah. She doesn't.
Okay, that blows my mind. So
Yeah.
I have heard all this stuff about the importance of positive mindsets, positive thinking, and it goes to your introduction about how if you raise your frequency rate, that does have a huge healing factor associated, and of course the law of attraction and all that kind of stuff. It all falls into place there. But to actually have 200 tumors, just
100.
100, over 100, almost, 20, something like that, 120, something like that, over 100.
Over 3 is a lot.
I know.
But to have 1,000 tumors just disappear No, that's an incredible story.
Yes.
And I'm going to go and look for that episode, listen to it. For those that we haven't discussed, Davina actually has a podcast
Yes.
called Divine Healing by Davina
Mhm.
that is available right now on all podcasting platforms. I'm going to add a link to that directly
Yes.
to our show notes so you can access it directly. I've been a subscriber and I love it.
Oh, thank
I
you.
recommend it to anyone who is interested in this type of modality.
So that episode is not out yet, but there is one that everyone should listen to, which I think you'd find it interesting as well. This amazing doctor who was treating this 37-year-old woman with a tumor on her third eye, so her pituitary gland, right here. And when he started treating her, he found out that her parents wanted to leave each other just as the mother found out she was pregnant. So they stayed together for her, and the mother was obviously not happy. She carried that energy throughout her pregnancy. And here's the thing, with the doctor talks about how important it is to be in a good mindset when you want to have a child, when you want to get pregnant, because that child will pick up on that energy. So when she was coming out of her mother, she sensed how her mother didn't really want her. She was only really there for her father. The father stayed there because of her. And as she was coming out, she had a tough labor, right here. So her gland hit her mother multiple times. Okay. And that is how the cancer manifested and showed up when she was older, because she carried all that energy and she had that trauma of the birth. So he basically treated her, and they did a lot of meditation where like they went back to her birth, and he has this whole amazing process where he talks about in his book, and her tumor went away.
Wow.
It dissolved
Okay.
after that.
Yep. I'll definitely look for that.
How did you decide to get involved in this? I mean, it's fantastic, but what drew you to it? The whole healing.
Oh, the whole healing. So I always knew that I was a little bit different growing up. I was labeled very sensitive. I never really thought I was like fitting in anywhere. I always thought I was like a little bit weird or just not normal. Anyway.
Sounds familiar.
Right? So I think it was until I was in college, this is when like I first realized that I was pretty psychic. So in college, I got really bad food poisoning. I was hospitalized. And after that, I started having a lot of like daily visions and like dreams that were coming true. And I had these things as a kid, like here or there, but I never really thought of it. Like, I was like, whatever. I'm just very imaginative. I'm creative. But it was until I was in college and these things started happening. And I met this girl, and she's pretty religious spiritually, and she's like, you need to meet this healer. And I was like, you seen this healer? Like, our community, because she's very religious. And I was thinking, like, don't you guys think this is like maybe like devil's work or something? I'm like surprised. Like, I see her, but like, why would you see her? And she's amazing. She's an Orthodox woman too, from Israel, and she does this healing. You have to meet her. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go. So I go to her, and at the time, my dad and I were like fighting about like work and stuff. I wanted to work for the family business. He didn't want me in the business, blah, blah, blah. Tension.
So your right hip was burning.
Actually, it wasn't my right hip at the time. It was my right foot. The top of my
or the foot.
the top of my right foot was in so much pain. I didn't understand, like, what is this pain? I didn't hit anything. So I go to her, and she's like, sit down over there. She put me in front of a tray of crystals, and she's like, pick crystals. I'm like, okay. So I pick, and I'm like, no. I pick 5. And after I'm done, she's like, do you know how I know you're sane? Literally, do you know how I know you're sane? I'm like, oh. You picked 5 crystals. 5 is a perfect hand. I know if women or men have mental issues if they pick more than 5, because each crystal that you pick has some specific purpose of like what you need in life, what you have too much of, like all that stuff. So I was like, okay, great, I'm sick. So she puts me on this bed. She starts working on me, and she's like, what is happening with you and your dad right now? And I explained to her what happened, and she goes to my foot, And then she goes, I need you to go back to the time where your father didn't protect you and it hurt you and you kept it in all this time. So we went back to a situation when I was 5 years old. So at the time when I did this, I was like 22, 23. And I went back to kindergarten where my dad had an employee who was overly friendly with me. And I would tell my dad, Dad, I'm like uncomfortable, this, that, whatever. You're just so cute. Like I never got like, I'll talk to him, I'll protect you, don't worry. So that was like the situation. And she made me reenact that for every night for 2 weeks. The pain was gone. It's been gone all this time, but that's where I was holding on to a memory and a certain energy, and it went into my foot. So that's how I got involved with Reiki.
So it's kind of like a mixture between psychiatry and healing, healing modality, because in cognitive behavioral therapy,
That's what it is.
you live, right? You relive those emotions, you were able to process them. And the problem, the reason why we have issues is because we haven't processed those emotions. But the fact that she was able to identify that was pretty interesting. So then that launched you into your healing.
My career, my path. I was like, I have to train and do what she does. I'm like, there's no way I cannot do this. So I took a class. I got certified. I started doing it for family and friends, nothing serious. I wasn't getting paid for it. Like this was just like a hobby. It was for fun. People were like intrigued by it. Like I'd be really popular at parties, scaring people. And I'd be like, what have I done?
What's this?
Like I love to tell the story. I was at my cousin's apartment and her neighbor came in and the neighbor was like, yeah, I'm going to Texas tomorrow to meet my boyfriend. I was like, your boyfriend's a chef. And then my cousin turns to the neighbor and she's like, I didn't tell her that. Like she doesn't know anything about your boyfriend. And then like I read like her boyfriend to a T. And I had a friend there who didn't really know about what I could do. And it was like when she found out and she was freaking out. She's like, I gotta get out of here. Like, what is this? Like, how did you know his dog's name? Like, what? The mom collects teapots. How do you know this? Like, why? And I was like, wow.
So I got to ask you two things. One is why Reiki? What drew you to Reiki specifically? And two, do you have to be psychic to be able to practice some of these healing modalities?
Love these questions. Okay. So I was I love your questions because I had a human design reading by medium, and she told me that I was drawn to Reiki because I'm psychic. That it wasn't because like, hey, I just like Reiki. It's like my psychic gifts, whatever, said like, hey, you have to do Reiki as your like medium, like as your channel. Like people have the tea leaves, like I said, or like the cards. Like Reiki is mine. And because I'm like very, very, I don't know if it's because I'm very in tune with my body and my like ailments and like my problems that I'm able to find in somebody else, but or maybe it's just like the Reiki that made me like that. It's all connected, but it's more because I was drawn to it because of my like abilities, because I have other ones too. Like I can dream things and they happen. I'm able to project, which I'm glad I don't do that as much anymore.
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday, right? How much I really badly want to have to project. And you're saying, man, it's so annoying. You really shoot that?
It's annoying. It's really.
I have never heard anyone say it's annoying.
Me either. So
how is it annoying?
It's annoying when you do a lot of it. It's like, I mean, it's like I wake up literally like I told him, like, you want to eat like a village of people. You are exhausted. You feel like you got like hit by a car. It's just, and the stuff I see, like, I'd rather be surprised at this point. Like, I want people to surprise me. Like, I want people to surprise me.
It spoils my surprise birthday party. I hate it.
I wish it was those things.
So it's not something that you intentionally do. It's just something that kind of just happens.
Yeah, I don't intentionally do it. I have people in my family who intentionally do it.
Yeah, I thought it had to
mostly men. The men,
yeah,
men on my mom's side do it,
men,
which is crazy. But
wait. Why is that crazy?
It's crazy because the men on my mom's side are the most of them are the ones that are like, oh, this stuff doesn't exist. Like what you do is BS. It's like they're very condescending. Yeah. they're very condescending, right? But then they can astral project. Like, come on, so extreme.
They're
Pick one,
closet.
pick a lane.
You're in or you're out, buddy.
That's extreme. Astral projection, like Reiki, astral projection. Like, it's like, what's so bad about Reiki? But you can astral project, right?
Okay,
I like her.
You do. That's why she's on the show. So you're saying that they feel Reiki is bad, but astral projecting is not. Is that what you're saying?
Like my uncle, he doesn't astral project. He just thinks all of this is like baloney. It's like other cousins, other people on my side on that side that do it. They don't think I don't think they think it's like demonic. They just think it's like BS. I mean, my father thought it was BS for a while. And then he saw what I could do, and now he's like, my kid's a magician.
Now, have you ever given them Reiki healing session? Has there ever been a time when you said, sit down and let me show you how much hogwash this actually is?
I have, yeah.
Each your mind?
Yeah. I mean,
This,
I put my dad to sleep. I think early on when I was starting, I did it to my uncle. He wasn't like that impressed yet. But then again, like I was new. Like I knew things, but like right now, I'm like crazy good. I'm just like, I'm like spot on, right?
I like crazy.
Like when I do it to my dad, he goes to sleep. He passes out. He'll be like, "What day is it? Like where am I?"
That's me on this typical Sunday watching football.
No, that's me. When you're watching football.
I just have to remind him. I'm like, "Listen, Dad. Like a common thing after I work on people is like they go to the bathroom." So don't be scared. He's like, what?
Why is that?
Well, toxins are coming out.
Toxins come out. Think about like when you have diarrhea, you're either like passing like something like bacteria, something's bad. So like you're taking the toxin, it has to come out somehow. I worked on an influencer. She had no reaction. She's like, I'm fine. 3 days later, I had my first anxiety attack of my life. I'm like, you're 28 and you just had your first anxiety attack? But that was her reaction. And that was like the first time I had that sort of delayed reaction. Like after, like you might have a little anxiety. Some people do, but 3 days after to get a call that now she's like the whole world is spinning and she can't breathe and she wants to pass out. That was new for me. So it's interesting how everybody reacts, but number one is diarrhea.
Number one is number two.
Number one is
So can you do this virtually? Do you have to be sitting with the person or do you that, we've talked to a few different people and they all say, oh yeah, we can do this virtually. That just is so bizarre to me.
I made money during COVID.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Wow, that's impressive.
Well, we've talked to a lot of people that say, right, it's this energy. It doesn't matter whether we're right next to you or 1,000 miles away, the energy still exists and still be manipulated.
So it's like the radio.
They kind of, but different.
Yeah. I still don't get how the radio works. So for me, it's the same.
It's exactly like the radio, except totally different.
Oh, gotcha.
Got it? Okay.
Well,
I think that's fantastic. I think that's really great that you can even help people through the computer. That just blows my mind.
Yeah, my mom even tells me, she's like, how? I'm like, it just happens. She's like, but how? I don't
Tell her it's like the radio.
I had this client, exactly. I had this client, she's like, I saw you like in the meditation while you were working on me on FaceTime when I was working on her. She's like, I saw you like with your hands above me. I was like, that's the first time anyone ever said that. That's so powerful, cute. Like, you saw me? That's so sweet. Oh, it's practical.
So you said you were drawn to Reiki because you're psychic. With your psychic ability, could you look at someone and help guide them to what they're drawn to?
Yeah.
They're drawn to them.
Yeah, usually they're very like, those people already know what they're supposed to be doing. They're just scared.
Gotcha. Okay, do me.
No, me.
Do me.
I don't think Reiki is completely for you per se. Like I think just doing the level 1 is good. You get an understanding of like where I'm coming from, where other people are coming from. But I mean, what do you think about like plant medicine and like herbs? Are you interested in those things? Like trying it?
They fascinate me. But
that would be too much work for you.
it might be too much work.
Yeah.
Gardening is hard. Yeah. A green thumb I do not have.
More like just trying it and like sitting in a meditation and like seeing what you see. Something like that.
Well, then getting back to the question, does someone have to be psychic to be able to heal?
No.
Because I'm hearing a lot of, like, I did the intuitive energy healing with Scott Clover a while back. I've had Reiki practitioners on the show. I've learned Reiki myself. So you don't have to be psychic. So anyone could actually do this.
So I'll give an example. I was at a fair and there was another vendor there. And before that, I thought, hey, you need to be psychic to do Reiki. Like, how else could you not? And I didn't realize like what I was doing. I was going like a little bit above just Reiki with my medical intuition. But I'm talking to this vendor and he was complaining that people were like asking him, you know, what do you sense? What do you see? What do you feel? Blah, 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 blah. Like they wanted like a deep, in-depth healing. And he's like standing there and he's like, I just hover my hands above you and, you know, channel the energy and that's it. That's all I do. Like there's nothing else. Like just stop. And I'm like looking at it, I'm like, really? Like you don't sense anything? Like you don't feel anything? You don't tell them anything? He's like, that's all I do. And that was when like I made it a little bit of like a mission to like talk to any Reiki healer that I could find and like ask them like, hey, like, can you do what I do? Like, am I different? Like, what is the extent of your abilities? And a lot of healers just do that and they don't get into the medical intuition part. Like they don't tell them, they don't sense anything going on in their future or like say, oh, hey, you had this like problem in the past. Like one time I was working on my cousin. I didn't grow up with this cousin. She's older than me. She grew up in another country. And I'm working on her and I start hovering over her left foot. I was like, did you like fall down the stairs or something? Like, what is this? Like, it hurts. I saw a scene. She gets up and she's like, I never told you that. I'm like, what happened? She goes, I fell down when I was 6 years old and like, I really hurt this foot like badly. Like I had to get stitches and whatever. I was like, you have stitches here? She's like, yeah, right here. And I didn't see the stitches. Like it didn't. She's like, that's when she's like, oh, okay. This is legit.
Right.
Yeah.
So were you able to help with that pain?
Yeah, I did. It's very cool. That was like over 25 years. Like she had that for at least like 25 years, that pain.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's do a deeper dive into energy healing because some of that stuff is super fascinating. I know Reiki. I now know intuitive energy healing, but all these different energy healing modalities.
So
I've heard that those undergoing Reiki training, that all that Reiki does is accelerate things, right? So if you have a headache, it just accelerates it to get it out of you.
Yes.
Or things like that. And there's certain areas that you probably shouldn't do that for. Reiki can also be used to help someone transition from life to death. There's all kinds of things that Reiki is good for. However, I've heard there are other energy healing modalities that, in Reiki, really, you're not giving of your energy, you're just channeling life, universal life energy through you into the other person. But there are other energy modalities, energy healing modalities, where you actually I've heard of one that you actually give of your energy to the other person, and that's what helps heal them. And then sometimes you feel depleted because of it. And I've heard another energy healing modality where you're actually taking on, absorbing their illness or their pain to heal them, but that you've got to clear it from your body or your psyche as well. Have you heard about these things, or is it just someone blowing smoke?
So you are able to deplete your energy when you work on someone by not protecting yourself and creating the wall, like the seal. The last thing that you said, do you mind repeating it again? That part?
I've heard that there's an energy healing modality where you're not sending anything into the person. You're actually taking the pain or the illness, the disease of them and into you.
So it's not someone blowing smoke. It's just they're trying to explain Reiki in just different ways, with protection, without protection. So you when you're working on somebody, when I'm working on somebody especially, and when I learned about it through the healer, she would say, imagine let's say I'm working on my knee right now, on your knee right now. And I'm like, okay, imagine the pain in your knee as an object. Okay. You could say red ball. And like, as I'm like moving my hands above the knee, I'm imagining like the pain as a red ball coming out. So that's, I think, what you're trying to get at. That's what I've been taught. That's what I learned. Getting depleted is you have to protect yourself. You have to go in, for example, in a Reiki session, have crystals on you. Make sure you have like that white light above you. And like just before you start working on that person, go with the intention like, I'm going to channel Reiki energy today. I'm not going to give any of my own. I invite only the best for this person. Don't want anything that could harm them around. Don't even say that. Like, don't even bring up anything negative. Just I invite the best healing energy for this person. And make sure after you're done, put your hands on wood like this, clap to disconnect, and drink a lot of cold water. You and the person you worked on.
Right. So
Hydrate.
not for a lot of these things. Like I know when I was taught you have to fluff up their energy, right, to get it. But then I've not heard about clapping or putting your hands on.
You have to disconnect, because if you don't do that after, you might be taking on their energy and you'll be feeling kind of gross. So I always love to, even when I'm working on somebody, I love to do it on like hair washing day, because your hair accumulates a lot of energy. Wash your hair, maybe Palo Santo or sage yourself after you do it so you don't take on their energy. Those are the best tips, I think.
Wow. Interesting. I had not heard that. That's I've been doing it wrong.
That explains a lot.
I'm mistaken.
Oh boy.
I
We need to cleanse.
Well, can you share with us some of your most successful?
I was just gonna ask.
Wow, you guys are so in sync. I love
Yeah.
it.
Some of your most successful healing experiences. Yeah. Thank you, Karen.
So I think I'm gonna go with. I'm thinking about the clients I had with all like the hormonal issues. So I was working on this girl who she was saying like, I have been in this like deep depression for like the past year. I'm always tired. I don't know what's going on with me. She was dealing with a lot of like love issues as well, which was something also common that I was, helping girls with during COVID. Like I was like such a relationship coach. It was a lot.
Davina the love.
Yeah. Just like I can't get it out of bed. I'm so tired. And every time I would work on her throat chakra, I would get like heart palpitations. I'd start sweating. She's like,
You would get that, or she would get that?
I would get that.
Oh,
So I would get all her symptoms like when she'd be out of the Reiki session. And I said to her, like the first session, I was like, have you been to an endocrinologist? Have you checked your hormones? Yeah, they're fine. I just had them checked. I was like, I don't think so. I was like, honey, there's something going on there. Okay. And then she's like, I'm going to get an appointment, but it's like a little far off. I'm like, it's okay. Like, let's work together. So we work together like every week consistently. And she would say like, I have a lot more energy. Like I feel great, whatever, this, that. She goes back to the doctor. She gets her thyroid checked. Thyroid is not normal. She has hypothyroidism. And she was like, how? Like, how did it just like pop up like that? I was like, well, with like Reiki, sometimes your problems have to come up to be discovered in order for them, in order for you to get help. So she was like, yeah, they want to put me on meds, but like, I don't know yet. I was like, ultimately, it's like up to you to do it. I think they could help you. She's like, you know what? Like, I want to like keep doing this, like, see if I can get my levels down, like even like a few numbers. I was like, okay, like up to you. So she was like working with me, and then she was doing like a special diet. She goes back to the doctor. Her numbers went down a little bit more, which was like, she was shocked. I was like, oh, that's good. But then I was like, without meds. But I was like, shouldn't you be on like meds though? I'm like, I was like, that's great. I think that's awesome. But like, I think you should like listen to your doctor. And she's like, okay, like I'm gonna go on meds for this. But like the other issues that I have, like I still want to continue. I was like, no problem. So I was like, she's able to get her numbers down like to this day to like a decent amount with the meds and like the Reiki, and she has a lot more energy, and I'm able to like I see her in my dreams now. It's really cute. Like I'm able to like connect with her and like just like I know how she doesn't even have to like check in. I'll be like, oh, like how are you today? I saw you like you're like this, blah. She goes, oh, that's so cute. So it's yeah. So I love that like relationship. Like my stories are like it's relationships with people. Like I don't just like treat you and then like you're gone. It's like you're still like my friend in a way. Like I still check in, and like I'm able to just like create these relationships with people that they can call me anytime, be like, I need a tune up. I'm like, no problem, I'm right here. And she has that with me.
I think that relationships are so important because ultimately, if they have that relationship, they're going to trust you. They're going to be more open to the experience. And it's great.
Yeah.
And I love that. I saw on your website that you talk about when you come in and become a client, so to speak, you're not really a client, you're a friend.
Yeah.
You're a friend. And that's
I don't take on like so many people at a time because of my energy, and I just like don't have time with the 100 things that I do. Like if I take you on, it's either because you come like a friend recommended you to me, like somebody, it's word of mouth mainly how people find me, or like yeah, through like a family member, because like if a family
video show.
And this
That's true. The newsletter.
Get ready, Davina.
oh wow. Okay, I'm in it. We're excited.
Well, this has been fascinating. I knew it would be after. If someone wanted to try, like apply to be a client of yours,
At first.
what's the best way? A friend, right? What's the best way for someone to reach out to you?
You can DM me on Instagram. So it's Divine Healing by D, or you can email me at divinehealingbyd@gmail. Those are the two best ways. I answer everybody.
Great. And I will put those links directly into the show notes. So if you're interested in reaching out to Davina, you can always just go directly to the skepticmetaphysician.com. Actually, no, the skepticmetaphysician.com. And those links will all be there. Obviously, there's always divinehealingbyd.wordpress.com. She didn't say that, so we're not going to say it here either.
It's divinehealingbyd.com now. Divinehealingbyd.com.
Excellent. Even easier. So
yeah.
If you're looking for healing, if you're looking to connect with Davina, you will find ways to do that at skepticmetaphysician.com. Davina, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That's so much fun. Of course.
It's been a great time. Great conversation. Love it.
Great.
And Karen, thank you as always for coming along on this trip.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you are the best co-host anyone could ask for.
Oh,
very lucky.
lovely.
And thank you, listener, for coming along on this journey of discovery with us. We'd love to continue our conversation with you on Facebook and Instagram. So please find us there under @Skeptic Metaphysician or at skepticmetaphysician.com, where you can find direct links not only to our social media platforms, but also to that of our guests. As always, if you know someone that would benefit from hearing the messages we shared on the show or any of our others, I hope you consider sharing us with that person. It'll help grow the show, may just help someone else come to terms with the fact that we are so much more than just these three-dimensional bodies that we inhabit. Now, missed any of our show today? Not to worry. All of our shows, including this one, can be found on our website. Yep, you guessed it, skepticmetaphysician.com. Don't forget, you can become a member of the Skeptic Metaphysician community on our website. Membership is absolutely free, and you'll get the added benefits of discounts for services from some of our past guests, as well as a chance to never miss a show immediately once it's been published. You can even subscribe to the show or leave us a review or voicemail might put on the air directly on the stage. Well, I hope you enjoyed the episode as much as we have. Sadly, that's all we have the time for now. Thanks again for joining us in this journey of discovery. We'll see you on the next episode of The Skeptic Metaphysician. Until then, take care.